Hello out there world, hello Mongoose Magic Moments friends. Welcome to another Wildlife Diaries episode on this beautiful Saturday the 21st of February 2026. There isn't even a whisper of a breeze today, and already I can feel the furnace has been turned up to over 34 degrees centigrade. Yes, and it will probably go over 40 degrees centigrade. However, there are storm clouds on the way apparently, which could arrive in the next few days. The Little Karoo Valley, the Klein Karoo, just outside of Oudtshoorn in the Western Cape of South Africa, is of course where I'm filming from in my private reserve, the Meerkatmagic Valley Reserve of the Meerkat Magic Conservation Project, and a big welcome to you all. I thought I would show you what it is like for me as I emerge from the Meerkatmansion research base. Wildlife walks all around the research base, including porcupine, ant bear, meerkat, mongoose, and dozens of other species. Of course, this is the world famous and the most famous yellow mongoose from the cynictispenicillata species, the beautiful film star Gakulu Kucholina Chenorentola TSEBOKOLODI. And she has decided to come and have a nice relaxing stretch outside the Meerkatmansion research base in the shadows here. Let's see what develops as we do an unedited wildlife documentary. I like to take viewers behind the scenes and the science. None of this nonsense from artificial intelligence. AI lies. Just to give you an idea. I'm just letting the dominant female know at all times where I am, so she doesn't get any surprises, especially now when she's having a rest. Ah, look at this. What incredible timing here. The lyrebird, as I call it, the master of deceit, Lanius scalaris, the butcher bird. Welcome, everybody, to the live stream. Yes, this is the truth. None of this nonsense from artificial intelligence. Look at this. This bird is just waiting for an opportunity. This is deception in nature. And just beneath the bird is its target. Yes. Ah, Jawad. Hi. Hello. Welcome to the stream. I hope you're having a great day. You are busy watching wildlife film history being made yet again, as this is the only live stream on this rock that we are all on, showing yellow mongoose and fiscal shrike interactions. This bird will make a very loud alarm, and we probably will hear it this morning. So stick around. Champ, champ. Let's see what happens. There. You are watching wildlife history, friends. Look at that. The bird, as expected, made a false alarm because it thought the mongoose was going to dig up some food right next to it. So it lied. It said, oh, look, here's danger. And then the mongoose would usually simply run away. But the mongoose here knows that this is a deceiver, that this bird is basically talking nonsense. I've made many videos about this. It's the first time it's ever documented. with cynictispenicillata and Lanius scalaris, the yellow mongoose and the fiscal shrike. This bird is commonly known as the butcher bird. Yeah. But there was no food to steal. But it will also do this to meerkats. And baby meerkats and baby mongoose are especially susceptible to this deception because they will leave their food, including big juicy lizards, such as Tanopus garrulus in the Kalahari, the northwestern side of South Africa. Tanopus garrulus is the barking gecko. Makes a sound in the evening like tuck, 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 tuck. Please comment if you are from that area or have visited, and you will know what I'm talking about. The barking gecko is a primary staple of meerkats and yellow mongoose there. It's a very big meal, and this bird and certain other species, like the fork-tailed drongo, Dicrurus adsimilis, and Dicrurus ludwigi, which are very well known now because they were documented by National Geographic doing this behavior, which I told them about back in the 90s when I started my research in the Kalahari Desert for 7 years, 1993, with Cambridge University Large Animal Research Group, and that's LARG, L-A-R-G, and the University of Pretoria Mammal Research Institute, MRI. Mongoose is currently not falling for the tricks of this bird. It has gone into one of the local wildlife hotels. The bird has made an alarm. There was no food to steal, and the mongoose has simply moved off to another area. Currently, she is heavily pregnant. She could give birth anytime, even today. She's well within the maximum gestation period, which is usually 10.5 to 11 weeks. I'm delighted to tell you that this new wildlife hotel is where she is spending a lot of her time. And I'm really hoping that she gives birth to her babies here. A big shout out to Alessia Torchini and Asia Chili from Associazione Suricati Italia, international conservation collaboration with the Meerkat Magic Conservation Project, the Meerkat Magic Valley Reserve, as we are able to build additional wildlife habitat, such as this. Oh, here we go. Somebody else has arrived. TSEBOKOLODI. This is the Karoo scrub robin. Yes, now, oh, how interesting that these two birds are together while we wait for the dominant female to make another appearance. She is, of course, being extra careful with her energy expenditure since she is carrying the next generation of TSEBOKOLODI babies. Yes, what we have here are two birds that are actually rivals. It may not be apparent at first glance, but this bird right here, which knows me very well over many years, as does this one that is watching me closely, all except me because, that's ACCEPT, because of the yellow mongoose, which is part of the neighborhood. So therefore I am part of the neighborhood as well. This bird that seems so relaxed is only accepting me because the mongoose over there, let's see if we can get a bit closer, is not making any alarms, and they are watching her. There she is coming out. Yes, and back into the burrow for a moment. It's very, very hot at the moment. TSEBOKOLODI. TSEBOKOLODI. Chop chop. This is amusing to me how wildlife can be. Of course, we are on a wildlife schedule, which means they do whatever they want, whenever they want. And that's the beauty of being able to see them when we do, because there's no guarantee that they will simply stay out so that we can watch them Unlike the larger animals like rhinoceros and elephant, for example, which are very easy to observe, and anybody who tells you they are not has no idea what they're talking about. You can quote me on that, because I'm talking about digging animals such as mongoose and meerkats, which simply go underground when they do not wish to be seen. Yes, which makes studying them incredibly challenging, far more difficult than studying the larger animals. When you're doing a survey, you can do an aerial survey of these larger animals. There she's up and about again briefly. And you can see them. TSEBOKOLODI. Yellow mongoose and meerkat and many other digging animals simply go beneath the ground. You cannot see them. It's as simple as that. So how do you work out if they're in an area or not? That's where my wildlife research comes in, friends, because without my techniques, the film crews that have got up close to the animals that you may have seen since 1993, if you've seen any meerkat films, with the BBC, National Geographic, Discovery Channel and others, would not be possible. Yes, you cannot simply get up close to these animals because of the neighborhood watch, which I've introduced you to again this morning, and we'll see more of it as she goes to investigate the different hotel areas. Let's have a listen. The birds are watching her closely. The one bird, the Karoo scrub robin, is also close by. It's an ally. It will not make false alarms. However, it will follow her along. It's the aerial reconnaissance, and if she digs up any tasty termites, and ant pupa especially, it will help itself to any of those leftover bits of food. So they both benefit from each other's presence. Please notice this is reality. This is not some AI artificial nonsense created to say, oh, look how the mongoose is attacking the bird. No, no. Please have a good look at this. This is interspecies communication right here. Here I am. Here is the wild mongoose. There is the bird. Number one, the Karoo robin. Karoo scrub robin, as some people prefer to call it. And then we have the villain equivalent in this story. Yes, and that's reality. That's the deceiver up there, the bird who pretends there's danger when there's no danger so that it can steal food. It is in fact a parasitic bird when it comes to this mongoose species and the meerkat. And I'm talking about decades of my experience documenting these behaviors. Yes, this bird is not the friend of the mongoose because it keeps wasting the mongoose and meerkat's energy by letting them think there's danger when there's no danger. Right now it's been quiet again. It basically is the cry wolf bird, as I call it. I'd let everyone, thank you so much for your likes, everybody. I do appreciate it. And please do drop a comment where you are from. Look at this. This mongoose and this scrub robin are less than 40 centimeters apart. All right, now a bit further away. But the mongoose is showing absolutely zero interest in this bird. The bird is not a threat. The bird is not food. Look at this. It's following right behind the mongoose. Can you all see that? Look at that. There's the bird. I am now just over a meter away from the bird. It's a little triangle here. Interspecies communication. And then we have the deceiver waiting. Yes. Just waiting to see if there are any snacks nearby that it can suddenly get closer to and scrounge. I don't like to rush wildlife research, ever. It's all about being patient. I just uploaded a video earlier showing the typical view of wildlife research biologists, where we are often over 100 or 200 or more meters away using Nikon, usually, Pentax telescopes, 70 plus magnification, so that we can even see the animals emerging from a burrow. Our day can start at 3 o'clock in the morning Because if we arrive at an area where the animals are in a hole in the ground and we arrive late, then we can just watch a hole in the ground and nothing will emerge because they've already left. So wildlife research is not this glorious, easy occupation where you simply go out and watch animals and take photographs and make films. No. To get to this point has taken decades, because I'm not just talking about this yellow mongoose who is world famous that I followed since she was born in November 2018. I'm talking about every single mongoose that came before her, which I first had to get the trust of over years, starting off over 300 meters away, watching them for maybe 2 or 3 minutes. And that was all I had for my entire day's work before they left. And then I would have to track them to find out where they were sleeping the next day. Because this research project is a conservation project, conservation through education. I do not, and I repeat this, use artificial marking or even touch any of the animals. They are truly wild, except they trust me as part of the neighborhood. Thank you so much for your comments there. I do appreciate it. Hello to you. Looks like one of our regular viewers is back, and I do appreciate seeing you. I hope you're having a lovely day. To get back to my point here, the fiscal strike is nearby. It's not warning anymore. It's probably saving its warning for when it can have the maximum effect. Yes. Good day, Cooper, 357. Thank you for your comments, everyone. Yes, indeed, this is in South Africa right now. This is in my private reserve, the Meerkatmagic Valley Reserve of the Meerkatmagic Conservation Project around Oudtshoorn, the Western Cape of South Africa. And the weather forecast, as you can see, because shall we give you the real weather forecast, is a scorchingly hot 34 plus degrees centigrade already, without even a breeze, without a cloud. In fact, we are still in an extreme drought recovery period. We had 5 millimeters of rainfall last week. Most of the flooding passed by this little Karoo, the Klein Karoo Valley, and the reserve river is not yet flowing. However, the good news is the mountain catchment. Let me show you this to put things in perspective. That is the Great Black Mountain Range, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, Cape Floristic region, extending all the way off to Cape Town. It is one of the world's 6 floral kingdoms. Specifically, I'm talking about Maiairkat or fynbos. TSEBOKOLODI. Ah, that's nice. I'm in Cape Town, Cooper. That's great. Only 400 plus Ks away. Kilometers for our other friends out there. 180 plus miles. Yeah. In fact, a lot of the weather we get is from Cape Town, blowing up this valley. And that's why I'm excited to say, as I mentioned at the start of the stream, that we may have some overcast storm weather coming through in the next few days. In fact, even tomorrow afternoon. Yeah, so that will be going through Cape Town first usually, and then the wind blows it up the valley towards us over a day or two, and then it arrives here. As you can see, the dominant female is currently inspecting smellogram, as I like to call it, SMSs, sent short message systems. And as I also like to often mention to Mark Zuckerberg and Elon Musk, yes, technocrats, humanity is way far behind when it comes to animals in nature who have been using smellogram and SMSs for a long time. So this is basically the equivalent of an internet smell cafe where animals come and post their messages and leave warnings to others. For example, stay out, this territory is taken, or you can come on in. There's a breeding opportunity here, etc. Meerkats from the Ungulungu Meerkat group that I've been studying since 2001 in the reserve, who had babies in December and were part of the first live stream ever done with wild meerkat babies. Right here. and the yellow mongoose are always posting messages, especially after rainfall. So after last week's 5 millimeters of rainfall, which may seem very insignificant, it was enough to wipe away some of the short-term messages, and that is when we go on what I call research biologist days, meerkat and mongoose marathons or missions, where the animals can travel many kilometers at a time very quickly, and they are not looking for food on those days. What they are doing is, in fact, marking their territory and reposting. They are working. They're going around their territory, making sure others stay out and that they know that territory is taken. Here you can see a bit of foraging behavior. Please notice the beautiful anatomy up close here. It is very unusual to be able to look down at a yellow mongoose like this. And there you can see what look like beautiful mascara or eyeliners. I like to say with meerkats, the eye masks are like built-in sunglasses. This serves the same purpose. It allows this species and the meerkats to look straight up into very bright glare sunlight without getting blinded by it, because many predators, especially the birds of prey in the area, will attack from the direction of the sunlight. And any viewers out there are welcome to Google search, as I mentioned, various scientific names. There are 11 or 12, possibly more official languages in South Africa. I don't check often, but that's a lot of confusion when it comes to all the common names out there. And that's why scientific names are much better, even though, and this is a shout out to all of you who are changing all the names for us scientists, when we have spent years and years learning scientific names so that we can avoid confusion, all the scientific names have been reclassified over the last few decades. Well, not all of them, but many of them. And it's an ongoing process with genetics, etc. So the point is, cynictispenicillata is the yellow mongoose. And I'm going to tell you more about her anatomy as we can watch her like this at an escape tunnel. Please note she's right next to a wildlife hotel. This is a unique concept in nature conservation in the world. It has never been done before. Yes, myself and Associazione Suricati Italia, Association Suricates Italy, do not just work with suricates or meerkats. They work together with wildlife conservation projects, especially for digging animals. Together with myself, Alessia Torchini, and Asia Chili, the president of the association, who have visited South Africa on 2 occasions, all the way from Italy, have helped to design and build subterranean tunnels for digging animals to recolonize areas where their houses have been destroyed or plowed over primarily through past farming practices and housing development. Many people never even consider EIAs, environmental impact assessments, when they are plowing an area. Yes, and the animals that live there often are out of sight and out of mind, unfortunately, because they simply go beneath the ground and people do not see them. And these wildlife hotels could be inherited over thousands of years. And many different species use them. That's why I call them hotels. It's not just one who uses it. She's found something interesting in this plant. Smelling the area. It could just be a scent message. Of course, I'm letting her know where I'm at all times. That is why I'm always talking or making sounds in general. It is for the wildlife I work with. The entire neighborhood here knows me very well because they are not disturbed by me, because I say I'm not a predator. Predators are stealthy. I'm the opposite. This is almost always the case. They will sneak up on their prey, and I'm letting them know I am not a predator. You are not my prey. I'm just the noisy object. And I'm not even like a bird or anything else to them, because they interact with those species. With me, they don't interact, except there you are, they know I'm there, and that's it. That's why I say an object. They interact with birds, such as the 2 that have been here over the stream this morning, fiscal shrike and the Karoo scrub robin. The one is a parasite. The other is an ally, to put it in simple terms. Now, anything can happen. That's why I like to say this is the real wildlife research documentary. None of this predetermined scripting, post-edit, lots of music. No, this is real right now. And the difference is it is not a tourism project and it is not open to the public and it is a film and research conservation project. However, our valued sponsors and supporters of our channel can visit me. They let me know in advance, and you can as well, whoever you might be out there. But there will be tests involved. And one of the tests is being able to make the recognized audio codecs that the wildlife in this area know. All film crews and wildlife research biologists who I work with, and these have included Sir David Attenborough in the Kalahari Desert Study Site, Simon King, BBC, Nick Stringer, National Geographic, Nigel Marvin, Discovery Channel, Henry Cole, First Class South Africa, Richard Goss, Keir Downer, I can go on. The list goes on for decades. Everybody who has worked with me or worked on my study sites that I have set up has had to make some kind of an audio codec in order to get near animals without disturbing them. That is an audio association, NLP, Neuro-Linguistic Programming. For those who know my work, this will be old news to you. However, for those who haven't heard about this, there are many playlists about this. Thank you to everybody. We have nearly reached 2.1 million views on our channel. And that's all thank you to your support for watching our content and sharing it. Please do like, subscribe, and share as well. It helps the algorithm. Yeah, what a pain in the butt, YouTube. Yes, YouTube. Long play videos hardly get any views anymore. It's terrible. That's why I'm doing vertical format exclusively nowadays, because otherwise content is simply not seen. And that is not because people aren't interested in it. The same content put in vertical format is viewed by many people. That is due to YouTube promoting vertical format short streams over all other formats, which is a real shame. All right, going back to what's happening here. Lots of little snacks are being dug up. Quite often, juicy grubs have arrived overnight. And the reason this is such a popular area is quite simply because of the wildlife water feature, which I have excavated here back in 2008 when I started this private reserve. So I will show you this briefly. I've been filling it up as and when the solar borehole pump allows. There we can see. This has been dug through cement or concrete-like soil. All right, yeah. Incidentally, my shoes are not for sale. I have had people ask. You might think that's a very strange thing to say, and I'll explain why. These are not any kind of shoes. Please have a look. You see that? That is air conditioning right there. Yeah, look at this one. Beautiful. It is not because I cannot afford other shoes. These shoes are simply far too valuable to change when I'm in this territory, because wild yellow mongoose have scent marked them. They've given them their stamp of approval. I'm part of their territory. I'm a mobile piece of territory. And the Ungulungu meerkats have scent marked them. Yes, to be able to get scent marked by a wild study animal can take years. And now that I have been scent marked on these shoes are exclusively for use in this area. Of course, I have different shoes for different territories. If I had to take these shoes somewhere else, I could start a territorial conflict, because I will be putting scent from other areas and disturbing the animals. All right. I was hoping this would happen. She's had a little rest, and now she's going on an SSMS smellogram mission. There's a little scent message right there. Another one. Every brief stop and sniff is not just a random occurrence. She's not looking for food. She's actually posting messages. And the birds have moved on because there hasn't been anything for them. But they will still be watching her. And they have incredibly sharp eye. There we go. I was just talking about you, little one. The Karoo scrub robin. They are so incredibly quick moving. Yeah, primarily insectivorous, so they can't afford to simply go up like many of the gramnivores here and wait around patiently and eat as much as they want. Their food is active and is trying to escape. You won't be able to see it easily now, but I will get us closer. All right, there we go. Yes, I see you, little bird. Please let me know if you're familiar with this bird, the Karoo scrub robin with the white eyebrow stripes. Yes. And the blackish stripes on its throat. Let's see if we can get a bit closer before you jump out of way again. Yeah. Yes, a difficult bird to focus on because of its rapid movements. All right. So within 2 meters now of the yellow mongoose film star right here. Incidentally, if you would like to name the future generations that she's carrying and the future ones that are not yet conceived, please do drop a comment. Your time is running out if you would like to be part of the naming choices. I've already had some suggestions for the meerkats. One was Timone from The Lion King, which is, of course, not a surprise. But every name from any language is welcome. You can send it in a comment. I do get back to people who put comments on any of my videos. So please do not be shy. Ask your questions. Please also share all the different videos. That's how we get more conservation through education awareness out there, to dispel all the nonsense and lies that AI, artificial deception, is causing. A brief glance at me. I'm being very stealthy when it comes to making sure that I'm not crunching the very dry vegetation here. Please notice how very distinctive her white tip to her tail is, because a yellow mongoose is not as Google. By the way, Google, I hope you surf this and scour through my site recently. I mentioned this, and I hope you update your nonsense, because the yellow mongoose is not only diurnal, active during the daytime like the meerkat. And your first clue, Google, is the white tip to the tail, which is very characteristic of an animal that is more active at night. So they are also nocturnal. I say also because, yes, it's daytime now, and yes, they've been active, but I have seen them active at 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning, which makes them nocturnal. And I've seen them active before sunrise, so pre-dawn, and after sunset, which makes them crepuscular as well. So diurnal, crepuscular, nocturnal. That's what Google should be mentioning when you do a search. But now you know. It's as simple as that. I have been researching them since 1993 professionally as a nature conservationist. Not as a tour guide, just a shout out to all the tour guide friends out there. Nature conservation by profession includes law enforcement, research, and everything else. It is not simply guide work. I do like to tell people the difference when it comes to an unedited wildlife documentary, and right there was an SSMS being posted. I hope you noticed that. She's back at the Wildlife Hotel. Just like the meerkats, she will never be far away from safety networks, and I'd like to give a special mention to Falco peregrinus. Yes. Drop a comment if you recognize that name, please, and please don't look in Google. Falco peregrinus. Yeah, I've taken thousands of people from around the world out on visits with me over the decades. However, in the past, nobody could check on Google to verify scientific names. Now they can. So it makes it a bit easier on a test. However, Falco peregrinus, peregrine falcon, yeah, is one of the main predators in this area, reaching speeds over 382 kilometers an hour. It is in fact the fastest animal on the rock that we are all on right now. Yes. So what, you might think? What has that got to do with a mongoose right here? This mongoose is making sure that no matter how fast that peregrine or the lanner falcon, Falco biarmicus, which is not nearly as fast, 180 plus kilometers an hour versus 382. They both occur in this area. I see the Karoo scrub robin is back. Just please notice that. And the fiscal shrike is giving its usual neighborhood call, which is a non-alarm call. That's it calling right now. All of those different sounds are from the fiscal shrike. But none of them are that nasty alarm sound, which was a fake call from earlier. If you check out the stream when it is posted later. Anyway, coming back to this. So, these extremely high-speed birds are not going to wait around for a mongoose or meerkat to find a hole in the ground. They are going to attack as rapidly as possible. And they will usually do this from the direction of the sun to blind any prey. Again, Procavia capensis, the rock hyrax, strangely enough, a close relative of the elephant. Yeah, that's a bizarre one there, because of its toe structure, supposedly. Anyway, they have an umbraculum in their eye, which filters out the glare from the sunlight, whereas the yellow mongoose, as you can see here, has that mask around her eyes so she can look directly at the glare of the sunlight, and the meerkats have a very dark and much larger eye mask. Yellow mongoose has a horizontally slitted pupil. The meerkat has a round pupil. The horizontally slitted pupil is, of course, similar to that of a goat's, not like that of a cat. Please notice how heavily pregnant she is. For those who've been watching her over the last few weeks, you will have seen a big difference in how pronounced her belly is getting. Her inguinal mammae, those are nipples, M-A-M-M-A-E, we call them mammae. Scientific research with the animals. She has 2 inguinal nipples, or pair, 2 abdominal mammae, and 2 pectoral mammae. So a total of 6. Average litter size for yellow mongoose species, cynictispenicillata, is 2 to 5. The meerkat's average litter size is quite commonly 4 to 6. However, in my experience, yellow mongoose most commonly have twins, just a pair. However, all the mammae produce milk, and I've even seen meerkats with 7 and 8 nipples, 8 mammae. Yeah, very, very unusual, however, but it does happen. I've never seen a yellow mongoose with more than 6 mammae. Please drop a comment if you have. It's a beautiful morning. The breeze is in fact picking up a bit, maybe bringing in those distant storm clouds from Cape Town, from our friend from earlier who mentioned that Cooper 357. Yeah, you'll be getting rainfall probably hitting that area very soon. Yes. Very peaceful. Please do test yourself, test out the calls on cats and dogs and other animals that you are around. I would love to know in the comments, how did they react? Please notice how she's not even looking at me when I make that sound. That is not a mongoose sound. It is in fact a modified meerkat call, which I have been using with variations of since 1993. I have even used it with chimpanzee in Kibale rainforest study research troops back in 1997 when I was in Uganda studying banded mongoose, Mongos Mongo, the most sociable mongoose on this rock. Yeah. Living in groups of over 60. They're incredibly difficult to study. Imagine watching more than 2 animals and trying to work out what they're doing and keeping tabs of them. Now, imagine 60 plus. And this is a big shout out of respect to Jason Gilchrist, wherever you might be now. He had cerebral malaria and was trampled by buffalo during his research in the Queen Elizabeth National Park in Uganda. That's a beautiful, beautiful park, by the way. It's incredibly wild and dangerous for researchers. Yeah, you could be trampled by a buffalo as he was. There are hippopotamus, which are far more dangerous than any other animal in Africa. And of course, leopard, hyena, etc. Yeah, and I'm not talking about people driving around in vehicles. We were on foot at all times, studying banded mongoose who go beneath dense vegetation that makes this look like an open field. Yeah. All right, she's heading back on a little mission, so let's see what happens. Already we are making new wildlife history, because right now, out of all the billions of people on the planet, we are the only ones watching yellow mongoose during a live stream like this, and that's a fact. So welcome to our viewers from wherever you are and wherever you may be in the future when you watch this. For those who are with me now, I hope you're enjoying your ride along. It's as if you are on my shoulder. You are getting a view from a 6-foot vantage point. And that's what it looks like looking down at a yellow mongoose that most people will never even see in the wild. And if they do, it might be from hundreds of meters away for mere seconds as it runs off. Yes, I'm changing my position here. And she's just coming to check. This is a displacement reassurance. Please notice within a moment, she will recognize this visual aid I am using. Again, neuro-linguistic programming and NLP, and it's not just neuro-linguistic. I'm using another modification which I have created myself. So yes, this is intellectual property. This displacement reassurance I have been using since 1993 on many different species to great effect. If an animal is disturbed by a movement that maybe has caught its attention, I can displace that behavior and reassure it using this hand gesture. That's also where the nickname, the man behind the hand, comes from, because I focus on the wildlife that I research. Let's see what happens beneath this pepper tree. A shout out to any of our Californian viewers. Yeah, that's California, USA, California IA, because this tree you may see in many of the American films. That's because it's originally from America. Its ancestors were brought here. Yeah. You won't smell it, unfortunately, but I can let you know it smells just like a freshly crushed peppercorn, because although these are not your typical black peppercorn, they are known as ornamental peppers, and there are none on the tree that are ripe yet, but these are the next generation of them. Extremely valuable for gourmet cooking, incidentally. They sell for far more than black peppercorns. A bright pinkish red and beautiful. A bit of auto-grooming from her. This pepper tree species is known as Shinus mole, or Shinus mole. It's very rapid growing, incredibly drought resistant, and that is why they've been planted in areas all around South Africa, picnic spots, farm areas, because they also are insect repellents, specifically with flies and mosquitoes who do not seem to appreciate the scent from these leaves when they are crushed. All right, after a brief auto groom and looking around, she's moving out to search for additional food. So we'll just tag along. All right. From one area to the next, shadow, and she's scent marking her territory. Thank you to SC Wireless, Hugo and Chris. South Cape Wireless, I do like to mention them, because without them I would not be able to bring you this right now. That is our enormous antenna up on the Meerkatmanchen research base. This is our Māoyòu clock. Yeah, people who know what a Māoyòu clock is, you can let me know in the comments. But in South Africa we like to have a barbecue. It's called a braai, B-R-A-A-I. Basically a grill with outdoor fire. I don't like to use all these modern appliances and so on when we are being atavistic outdoors, experiencing the beauty of being primitive. and remembering that just like the animals that I follow, we in fact have everything we need already. Many people get depressed. Yeah, when I talk to them about this, oh, what went wrong? How come people are so disconnected from nature? I'd like to give a shout out to Mandy Young, an ecotherapist. She's a world expert. Please do check out her social media as well. Worked together for many years. She works with elephant, wild dog, dolphin. She's worked with me with meerkats extensively as well, to help people better understand how we can live in greater harmony with nature and our surroundings. Look at that foraging right now. So ecotherapy, just going for a little walk in the garden, you'll be around nature. Even areas in built-up cities have plants. A little crack in the sidewalk, and there's a flower growing through it as nature comes back. Hey, Frank Boy, RBX, I'm back. Yeah, how are you doing? I subscribed to your channel. I saw your Roblox. Yeah, Minecraft. Good to have you with. Appreciate it, and thanks for the shout out there. Yeah, I hope you're having an excellent day, my friend. Thank you to everybody else who's also joined the stream and for watching our different content. Yeah, we have friends and supporters from around this rock. All right, let's get back into the action here. Yeah, that is wildlife research right there. The unedited, the true wildlife documentary. None of this artificial intelligence nonsense. Yeah, we tell it how it is. I don't go and edit this and then only put up selected parts of it. I give you everything. Just as if you've just hopped on board on my shoulder as we walk around the reserve. Please notice how her tail puffed up. Yep, there was an alarm. You won't be able to hear it, but way off in the distance I heard a Cape Crow briefly. Quack, quack, quack. Now, I won't make that sound louder or exactly the same, but that's why she immediately reacted. It's better in nature, as I like to say, to ask questions after something has disturbed you. React first, ask questions second. And that's what happens with meerkats. When there's an alarm, they let each other know how far it is. Is it in the air? Is it on the ground? And when it's getting closer, they warn each other so they don't waste any time running around trying to escape from a predator that might not even be attacking them. And that's why meerkats who grow up in an area become very experienced in that area. And that is why meerkats have a matriarchal structure. So the females are the leaders, not the males, as with elephants and with yellow mongoose. Because the males move into a territory, they leave the territory that they were born in, their natal territories, in search of unrelated females. There's no incest or inbreeding within meerkats. So if you see a dominant male and female, an alpha pair, as we call them, they are not related in the wild. The male has moved into a territory that he does not know. He has followed the smellogram, the SMSs, the sent short message system from the dominant female, which attracted him to a territory. He will not breed with his daughters. Any males born in a group will ultimately leave in search of unrelated females from other groups. And this is going on all the time with meerkats. Meerkats also have a matrilineal structure. The females inherit the territories from their mothers. It's interesting that she's going back to this wildlife hotel area. She had a little scratch around there, didn't find anything. And now she's going back into the shade. Of course, she could be anywhere in the reserve, many kilometers. This is all part of her territory. For those who have been with me in this area and have walked for 15 plus kilometers, you'll know what I'm talking about when we spend 6 hours tracking wild mongoose and meerkats. If you would like to do that yourself, check out the comments and you can find out how to contact me and arrange a visit. As I've mentioned, this is not a tourism site. It is specifically for research biologists and film crews, or for my supporters on my channel. All right, let's check what's happening here. All right, back to the anatomy. There's a beautiful view of her nails. Look at that, 4 nails on the back feet, short nails. They are non-retractile. They cannot withdraw into the skin. Incidentally, the cheetah does not have fully retractable nails. They are partially retractable. I was told, oh, they are non-retractile. They are partially retractile, just by the way. Yellow mongoose, the nails are not retractile. 5 nails on the front feet, which is very, very strange. Most herpestes species of mongoose, and there are over 36 different mongoose species on the planet, give or take, some people say. All right, she's back into a wildlife hotel for now. It's getting very hot. Yeah. Typically, mongooses have 5 nails on the front feet, 5 on the back. Like banded mongoose, like small grey mongoose, like Egyptian mongoose, like water mongoose, and those all occur here. So I can tell the difference between tracks that I'm seeing, because the meerkats have 4 nails on the front feet, which are almost a centimeter long quite often, 4 nails on the back feet. Yellow mongoose have hair under their feet. So if I see 4 nails on a track, I will notice that there's hair over the foot, and then I know it's a yellow mongoose back foot. All right, everyone, thank you so much for joining the stream. I'm going to end here because it is getting so hot now. She is not going to come out probably until late this afternoon when it cools down. She is, of course, carrying the next generation of babies. Please do add your comment. When do you think the babies will be born? And when will they emerge? Because that's not the same thing as when they're born and when they come out of the ground for the first time. And please do suggest names, and we'll take those into consideration. I hope you have a fantastic, fantastic weekend. I appreciate you all. Thank you so much for joining the stream. Until next time.